Tonight with Mike Davis, founder of the Article 3 Project, a group that strongly backed Hegseth. Dare I call you, Mike, the enforcer in this operation here, the whip against, or for Hegseth, I should say. Was today a win?
It was a big win because Pete Hegseth showed the world that he is ready to take command of the Pentagon on day one. And the Democrats, these Senate Democrats, look like complete clowns, frankly. They were not organized, as you said. They did not land any punches. They didn't even put a finger on him. And he will easily be confirmed, and he'll be the next Secretary of Defense.
Do I have the strategy right? To pull back the curtain for us, tell us why Team Trump, and I know that there are outside groups helping, such as yours, decided Hegseth first, alone, all in on this one confirmation fight.
Well, I like the fact that Pete Hegseth has become a heat shield for all the other nominees because he's just made today's hearing with Pete Hegseth has showed that the other nominees are going to get through a lot easier because of this heat shield that they provided. The Democrats came at Pete Hegseth with everything they had today, and they look like, again, clowns.
It was unimpressive, just in terms of the politics of it and the organization of it. We're going to talk to some Democrats later on. One thing that I saw that was different of Trump 1.0 to Trump 2.0 is this ability to arm twist, and there was carrots and sticks in getting Republican senators in line here across the board. Is that the same playbook for Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr.?
Well, what we're doing at the Article 3 Project, what was missing in President Trump's first term is we are an outside group, we are ferocious, and we have insider experience. And we've had tens of thousands of Americans contact their home state senators via phone and email and light up these home state senators. And we help these Senate Republicans find and keep their backbones.
An interesting way of putting arm twisting. I had not quite heard that one before. Article 3, based in the Constitution. The Constitution says the Senate shall advise and consent. What you're setting up here, though, is not advice and consent. It's rubber stamp. And I'm wondering how that is congruent with your mission to be true to the Constitution.
Well, I was the chief counsel for nominations on the Senate Judiciary Committee, and so I understand the constitutional role quite well. For the president's executive branch nominees, particularly his cabinet picks, the president gets to pick his own team, and so long as they're qualified, the Senate should confirm them. It doesn't matter whether the Senate has a personality or a policy disagreement. The president gets his own team. The president doesn't pick Senate staffers, and they shouldn't pick the president's staffers so long as they're qualified.
All right, well, Mike, due respect, and I don't often argue law with a lawyer because I'm not one, and I don't like arguing with people who are smarter than me on TV, but that's not what the Constitution says. I mean, there's a reason the Constitution the founders put in, advise and consent. They didn't have to do that. If the president got to hire whoever he wanted, as senators do, they wouldn't have had a check and a balance. And again, what is the rationale for taking that away with, as you point out, making senators find their backbone?
Well, they are providing their advice and consent. They are making sure that these nominees are qualified. Pete Hegseth is clearly qualified. If someone says he's disqualified because his personal misconduct, it's their job to come forward with clear and convincing public testimony and other evidence to show that he's disqualified. And if they can't do that, if you have Macy Hirono, the dumbest senator in American history, putting out innuendo and drive-by political shootings, that's not going to fly. We tried that with Kavanaugh, and it didn't work for the Democrats. We sent 4 Senate Democrats packing in 2018 because of the Kavanaugh fight. So if the Democrats want to replay the Kavanaugh strategy, we are very happy to do that at the Article 3 Project.
Is that essentially the playbook, right? Is that the Republican playbook here of pull Kavanaugh off the shelf, run that same play of fighting back, and not giving an inch on anything and forcing Republicans, as you put it out, to find their backbone and coalesce support around the nominee?
Look, if anyone says a nominee is not qualified, I'm all ears. If anyone says a nominee is disqualified because of the personal misconduct, they don't have the current character and fitness to serve, I'm all ears. But if they have a personality or policy disagreement with one of the president's executive branch nominees, too bad. The president won. He won 312 electoral votes. He won the popular vote. He won a mandate.
So I take that to believe that Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr. won't have a problem getting confirmed, in your mind?
They shouldn't have a problem getting confirmed. I don't agree with everything that those Democrats have done in the past, but I'm not the president, and he gets to pick his team.
Okay, fair enough. You say he gets to pick his team, and I think this is an interesting concept because we've seen, and I made the reference to 1998 meaningfully in the open because that was Monica Lewinsky, right? And has the idea of character become a quaint notion in Washington?
Well, I do find it amusing that these Senate Democrats are going after someone for stepping out on their wives or drinking too much. I was a top Senate staffer. I don't know if the Democrats want to go down that path because the Article 3 Project can certainly take evidence at article3project.org. If anyone has seen one of these Senate Democrats drinking too much or stepping out on their wives, if they want to make that the standard for public office, I will gladly go there.
I think the tweet, right? The tweet is, if you have evidence a Senate Democrat drinks too much or steps out on their spouse, please contact at Article 3 Project. And if anyone who were to see those events happening got in touch, your Twitter inbox would be overwhelmed. RIP your mentions in that case. But I ask this meaningfully. There is a difference between being a United States Senator, as important as that job is, and being a guy inside the snap count to launch nuclear weapons. That is the Secretary of Defense's most sacred job. And doesn't at some point it become incumbent upon Republicans, if they want to talk about character, as Republicans have in the past, to hold themselves not to the standard of Senate Democrats, but a higher standard?
Look, I think that qualified nominees can be disqualified because of their character and fitness, but it's not going to be with Macy Hirono standing going to a Senate.
I had to go there. Okay, but Mike, then, if cheating on your wife multiple times and having children out of wedlock with other women while you're married isn't disqualified, just to be clear, what would be disqualifying in your mind? What would the Article 3 Project say? Look, we're not going to threaten to primary Republican senators over not voting for a nominee because of their personal behavior. The personal behavior is X.
Look, it's the present character and fitness to serve. If a nominee actually raped a woman 5 years ago, they are disqualified from office. But you can't
even if Donald Trump said, "I want this person," that would be disqualifying to you.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So do they have the present character and fitness to serve? And we got rid of the Me Too presumption of guilt with the Kavanaugh confirmation. We have the American presumption of innocence. And if people want to say a qualified nominee is disqualified, come forward with clear and convincing public testimony and other evidence. Otherwise, shut up.
Well, that was the line, and Democrats didn't come with anything, really. A lot of innuendo and a lot of unnamed sources in their accusations. Help me understand where this goes for Donald Trump, right? The difference in Trump 1.0 and 2.0 is stark. Agreed?
Absolutely.
What does Hegseth's win mean for how Donald Trump is able to push through legislation and manage going forward?
Look, President Trump, the first time, it was his first time running for office. I don't even think he expected to win, right?
He did.
I don't think he picked the right personnel in many instances the first time. He has had 4 years to reflect on that out of office, and he has come back this time. He is going to be a highly effective president. He's picking the right people. Susie Wiles is his chief of staff, and she is the enforcer. She is outstanding for President Trump, and they're not gonna mess around this time. They're not gonna get duped by the Russian collusion hoax, Crossfire Hurricane. They are ready to govern on day one.
And it seems as though Republicans are falling into line in a way they didn't the first time around. Certainly not January 2017. Mike, this was a fascinating conversation. We appreciate you being willing to come on and talk to us. Welcome back anytime.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, come join us in studio. Quick programming note.